Okay, a quick overview of photogrammetry, specifically using Metashape. So to get the files, go to Blackboard and class agenda, and it's under week 2, and just download the JPEGs. I shot a few of the Eastern Island monument at the Smithsonian Natural History Museum. And so once you're on that view, then you can right click and save your image, or download it or copy the image onto your computer. So download all 6 of those, and then go into Metashape. And to get the trial version of Metashape, just go to Agisoft Metashape, go to downloads and pick your platform and click there. You can choose a professional or standard edition. The professional edition has a few more features, so you could download that at this point. And the standard edition has just the basics of photogrammetry. So if you download your Metashape and then boot it up, actually that's my wrong version. Let me get my newest one. Okay, so you have a new project, and the key in using Metashape and these sorts of types of software is to save your project within the same folder of your images. So the links to the images stay together with the project. So in my case, I have my Rapa Nui images in my downloads folder. So I'm going to save my project here. Okay. So the first step in the basic workflow and the main menu item that you're going to be using is just workflow, add photos. And then you'll navigate to your folder where the images are at, then select them, hit open. And now your photos will be in a separate window, and you can click on them and see what they look like. And if your view of your Metashape may look a little bit different, so I prefer the classic view to get that, so you can see all the same menu items in this video. Go to Metashape, Preferences, General, and you just change the theme, and I use the classic theme. If you're on that, then your Metashape will look like mine. Okay, so if you're not seeing the Photos pane, you can always go up to View and then see Photos. And if it's not there, then you can bring it up that way. And you can also have a separate tab down here. So if you're missing something, just go up here and select it. So I'll get rid of references. So say you didn't see anything there, just go View, Photos, and here they are. And you can see them in different formats and details of them and so forth. And these images were just 6 quick shots I did with probably an iPhone 5 or 6. So these are just regular JPEGs, not super high quality, but are pretty fast in processing your first model. Okay, so you have your images, and you can tell the way I shot them. I just did a semicircle around the object. But all the images are overlapping, and so we should have at least the front part of it, a pretty good result. So the first step is to align the photos. So you go to Workflow, Align Photos. Generic pre-selection, normally leave that checked on. Accuracy, for the alignment, normally have it set at highest setting. These are defaults that work pretty well. You can change those depending upon your project, but it's probably good to leave those there. The excludes stationary type points, I'd normally leave that checked, and that's more important if you're trying to 3D model a smaller object, and you may move the object around relative to you moving around with the camera. But I generally leave that selected. So hit OK. So it's going to align the photos. And so on the left here, you can see it successfully aligned 6 of 6 of the cameras. So that's good. And now we can go click back here to the model. And so it found 392 points in common between the photographs. And to navigate your model, when you hit the mouse, it just rotates. But if you want to move it side to side and front to front, you right click and then move it. Okay, so this doesn't look like much, but we're able to align the images, and we got 392 common points between them. And you can see here there's also this is called the bounding box. Depending upon your object, one thing you may have to do sometimes is click on here and resize the region, and you can move the region up and down. You need to make sure all your alignment points fall within the bounding box, because the next processes Metashape will do only takes place within the bounding box. So oftentimes your model may be cut off if the bounding box does not completely overlap your model. So that looks good. So the next step then is workflow and build dense cloud. Keep that on high. The depth filtering means that how much it's trying to remove extra points and noise, and also leave calculate point colors and point confidence checked. So this runs pretty fast since there's only 6 images. Okay, so this is the point cloud. Now to see what the dense cloud looks like, just scroll over here to dense cloud. And it found almost 16 or almost 1.6 million points on here. If we zoom in, so these are individual data points taken from the photographs. You can see like I have holes here, so I didn't duck down and get underneath the model as well. Under the chin here, and some under the eyes, but pretty good for just 6 images. So then the next step is to then build the mesh. So source data, dense cloud, surface type. It's arbitrary. You only use the height field if you're doing like drone landscape data. I'll leave the face count at high. Leave all those selected. And so generating the mesh is basically interpolating the dense cloud data points to draw a series of polygons across the dense cloud. This is what generates the surface. You can click here to look at the mesh, and that's the solid view. And then you can look at what the basic color looks, or the confidence looks like, and then the basic color. This is not yet the texture view. So to get the texture view, go to Workflow, Build Texture. Normally leave all these settings alone. Okay. And what this does is generate a photorealistic overlay on top of the mesh. And let's click on Model Texture, and then this is what that looks like now. You can see what it does, like on the dense cloud, there are holes, but through interpolation, it will fill those holes in. with the mesh, which depending on what you're doing, it can look pretty good. You can see like this kind of smoothed over section didn't have enough data, so it just interpolated it. But if you're just trying to show something to the public, you wouldn't really see that, but it wouldn't be of a high quality scientific result. But for just an exhibit purposes, this may work just fine. And so you've now completed your first model with just 6 images, which I think is pretty amazing to get something pretty high quality with just quickly shooting 6 photographs.